darlings, today I'm going to talk about consistency and how we need to do stuff on a regular basis to reach our goals, but how that can also be difficult. So one of my big goals is to become a best-selling author and an award-winning narrator. And so every day I try to do stuff to make sure that I'm getting toward that goal. So basically that is doing something in my craft. So that's either writing, editing, recording on my first audiobook, or trying to learn something more about it. So watching different YouTube videos on tips on how to be a better writer or how to be a better narrator and all of that jazz. And then a lot of people talk about putting out free content. And so that is why I try to be very consistent on putting out these videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Sometimes I can get a lot of self-doubt as far as these being of value. But then I remember that I feel like anybody who is just openly... Whoops, my battery's low. Let me plug myself in. Oh, geez. Okay. Anyone who is very raw and open is helpful, because I feel like so many people are trying to be perfect, or at least show a very pleasant side of themselves to the public. And so I try to be real and messy, because I feel like that is a thing we don't see a lot, and it can get easy to get down on yourself if you're only seeing the perfection that people put out there. And I know when I was in a really, really dark place, I would find inspiration from people who had also been in a dark place but are now multimillionaires with giant corporations, or like really thriving businesses. And I would just be like, how did they get there? Like, that's something I could never, ever, ever, ever do. And so I feel like if someone's made like a little progress in their life, that can be inspiring as well, and not be so intimidating. Because I did go from being really depressed to having really bad anxiety, sleeping until noon and not wanting to do anything, thinking about suicide all the time, and just crying a lot and just being very mean to myself. And now I've gotten to a place where I am so much healthier mentally, physically, and in so many different ways. And I've become a person I don't think I ever thought I could be, but I am still, I still have no idea what I'm doing. I'm still kind of bumbling through life. So if I can bring any sort of like hope to people of like, hey, you can get out of your depression and things can get better, and you don't necessarily need to push to become like a super, super fancy person. That's something I want to share, because there's people on YouTube that I love, that I am so inspired by, that did have their stories where they were depressed or anxious or whatever. I love Tom Bilyeu with Impact Theory, because he was not really a whole lot of anything, by society's standards, and now is a very successful person. Same thing with Lewis Howes. Like, I want to say he has the School of Greatness. Like, he was living on his sister's couch for a while. I believe Mel Robbins with panic attacks, and now she's like basically cured herself of that. There's a whole bunch of people where I'm just like, holy cow, but where they are now is insane. So yeah, I just want to be that like little person being like, you can do it. and maybe not be as intimidating. I don't know if that makes any sense. I feel like I've gone on a giant tangent. Maybe? I don't know. I was talking about why I do these videos. I'm supposed to be talking about consistency. So yeah, that's what I do. I do these videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and even tonight, I totally forgot until I'm like about to get ready for bed. Pretty much any time I'm in my bedroom, it means I've forgotten to record earlier in the day. So unless I like completely forget, I plan on doing these because I want that consistency, because once you start slacking, it's so easy to just stop. And I feel like that's true for pretty much any sort of dream. So that's what I do for my writing and my narrating, is just every day I'm working on it, and then I'm putting out these videos. I do an Instagram post every day. I have no idea if those are helpful. Those are just really, really random. But that's what I've been doing. And the tricky thing about it is when you're starting something newish, is still doing something, even if you're not seeing the reward. I feel like there's a better word for that. But if you're not seeing results happen right away, like for my writing, I have 2 books that are published, and I have not made a ton of money on those bad boys. That's the thing I need to research more, is how does one sell more books? I've seen some people that are like, hey, like get 100 of your friends, and when a book drops, like have them write a review right away. And I'm like, I don't have 100 friends. I have a few. And only maybe half of them I'd feel comfortable being like, hey, will you read my book about smut and God? You know, yeah, that might be a little interesting. So I'm trucking along. But yeah, it is interesting doing all of that, and sales are very little. But the really cool thing about YouTube is some people have watched my videos, and I'm excited about that. But it's funny, you know, when you're new doing something, little things can be exciting. I know one of my videos, I just happened to look and there were like 12 views. I'm like, 12 people watched my video, and I was like weirdly excited about that. And when I got my first couple like real comments, I was like, oh my, that's exciting. So, you know, hopefully there's little things like that that can boost you. But yeah, like the writing thing, it's like putting in, you know, months of work, and then you get your like first paycheck, and you're like, oh, okay, I can buy a coffee with that. There you go. Okay. But it's something I love to do, and regardless of if I make money or not, I plan to do it. I still plan on working on my goal, because I would love to be a best-selling author. But we're gonna keep working on it. And it's the same thing with trying to change your body. That one is interesting because so my love and I are about 2 weeks into doing our January Whole30, and so I've been really working on eating less snacks, or really any snacks. Because before I would just, you know, have a few too many cassava chips, or just snack on some really dark chocolate too often. And so I haven't been doing that, so I've been taking in less calories. And, you know, it's only been 2 weeks, and I still find myself like looking in the mirror like, how's the belly looking today? It was a little flatter, it was a little, like, oh, is there a little less flub, like a little less extra chin here? And it's silly because it's 2 weeks, and I do feel like I've noticed a small difference, but it's just ridiculous that within a small amount of time I'm already like, oh, how do I look? Oh, is it, you know? And my love is the same way. He's trying to put on muscle, you know, and he's in the mirror just like, how's that looking? You know, looking like, oh, how are the abs today? Are they popping? So it's so easy to look for the results, look for something happening, for more consistency. And the thing about it is just doing it anyway, just keeping on. Because I do own a business that brings in the bulk of my income, and that was very much consistency, because it was super slow for a while, and then it exploded, and I actually have to cut down. So I know that, and I think that helps me to realize, like, hey, remember when that was slow, and remember when nothing seemed to be happening? Keep going. There's a song. What song is it? Oh, I don't remember. I don't think it's is it The Blessing? I don't know. There is a Christian song where one of the lyrics is something along the lines of, even if I can't see it, you're working, and even if I can't feel it, you're working. I really love that, because it makes me have more hope. So even, you know, when you are working really hard on something and you're not seeing the results right away, God could still be in the background, making things better for you, or if that's not your cup of tea, things are just slowly lining up, and eventually you'll get there. Because it's just doing the same thing every day, keeping going. So if you're feeling a little discouraged about something, if you're trying, if you have New Year's resolutions that you're already like, nope, I encourage you to think of that goal and to just keep doing it regardless of what happens. Just keep on keeping on, because you are worth it and you deserve whatever sort of thing that you're looking for. So I hope that made sense. I felt extra rambly today. I always feel rambly. It's very rare when I'm like, that was concise. So yes, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a lovely day or night or whatever. Okay, bye.